Edward Weston was one of the masters of 20th century photography. He's been called one of the most innovative and influential American photographers, truly one of the icons of photography. Weston really influenced me, as I mentioned in my book, Advancing Your Photography. He had an amazing way of finding and capturing the beauty of everyday objects the rest of us might have just walked right on by. The film covers Weston's philosophy about photography and his approach to the art. You'll get a rare glimpse of an artist at work and how he visualized his photographs, how he loved nature, how he didn't follow the rules, and how he used cameras to create his unique images. Join me as we step back in time 70 years and explore the world of Edward Weston.
Point Pinos, Point Lobos, Point Sur, the coast of California. We can see this beauty. We can even hear the winds meet and smell the brine. We can feel the great continent behind our backs and the power of the sea that slams against it. But how does one catch such a moment in order to give it to a friend or to live it over again ourselves? Perhaps in a phrase or in a brushstroke, perhaps in a song or a story, or in a photograph. Most of us know how to point a black box at the things that give us pleasure. The new, the quaint, the odd. A 50th of a second of the sunshine is enough to produce a black and white outline that we can fill in later from memory. The funny faces will recall the laughter. The day I met those fishermen near Carmel, how they complained about their unquenchable thirst. The air was so fresh, the sun so warm. But the student of photography thinks that a camera is more than a device to jiggle the memory. Like a painting or a poem, a photograph can be an experience in itself. It can be the end to which the artist uses the beauty he finds about him. Here on the Pacific Coast, such an artist lives and works. To study photography with Edward Weston is an opportunity to learn a little about art itself. His house is simple. Where it is more important to Weston than what it is. For he uses it mainly as a headquarters for his frequent trips through the countryside. He explored Illinois that way in his childhood, and now California. When he lives in a place, it belongs to him. He feels rich, though he owns nothing but his tools, his personal effects, and his cats. They say a man's character is reflected in the animals he loves. Gentle, delicate, amusing, cats are creatures that cherish privacy. They're quiet and curious, completely domesticated, yet not quite tame. Certainly, cats are always at home in Weston's home, in its ordered simplicity, in its uncluttered comfort. Here are the signs of a personality that's distilled out of a full, rich experience. The things around Weston's rooms are all fragments of what he's seen and felt and known. The beauty to be found in nature. Mexico. Friends. He seems to like simple, uncomplicated things that most of us can understand and like. Down the coast 300 miles in Hollywood, they have a contraption that can wash a car in 3 minutes. In Europe, people say that this is America. Weston likes it. He thinks it's fun, but he doesn't think it's America. Machines and gadgets are convenient, he believes, but they cannot do our living for us. He won't let himself be used by them. He tends to weigh their value against what he has to give for them in terms of freedom or self-respect. The student who came to learn photography may be surprised to find herself talking philosophy, but Weston believes that his photographs must reflect what he thinks about the world around him. For instance, many of his fellow Americans consider Los Angeles a city of glamour. Weston lived here once, but now he only comes into town for an occasional visit. His personal inclination is toward nature and the outdoors, toward the good earth that's pleasant to the eye even when it's working as a factory to produce man's food. He sees dignity and strength and beauty in the long rows of a giant California farm. He doesn't believe that man must scar the face of nature to use her wealth. But what has all this to do with photography or art? Just this, that the artist is first a man, and into his art he can put only what he feels and thinks as a man. To know what Weston likes is to know how he chooses the subjects of his photographs. His greatest pleasure is the simplest of all, the pleasure of looking at the varied scenery of California, looking for the richness and drama, for the strength and relaxation, for the pleasing, surprising form that men call beauty. Weston often climbs up into the Sierra Nevadas on photographic trips. His most important tool is not his camera, but his eye. For the artist is first of all a selector, a searcher. He's a man who can search energetically and patiently, who has the integrity to search for what pleases him, not for what he thinks will please others. Behind Weston's selection of a subject lies the emotional experience of a lifetime. He's long since found out where to look and how to look. Just what aspects of this scene he can transfer to a piece of paper 8 inches by 10 depends finally on what his tools can do. So his subject must be selected with a knowledge of the camera's powers and its limitations. It's a machine that operates by light. Light rays, reflected from the lake or mountain, pass through the lens and strike the sensitized coating of the film. So the quality of the reflected light that the photographer can see on his ground glass is a factor that he considers in making his selection. Weston has no rules for lighting. He simply looks for the light that will best reveal the nature of the material he's photographing. He still uses an old-fashioned view camera because it enables him to observe the most minute details of the scene before him. It's little more than a box that permits him to control the amount of light that strikes the film, or to change the position of the film so that the image is sharp. The lens is the camera's eye, and like the human eye, it enables us to be selective, to pick out those sections of the total scene on which we wish to concentrate. And what are those sections? The ones that please us. Why does this form interest the artist, or that one? No one knows, not even the artist.
Thank you for joining me again. Be sure to follow me now so you don't miss the next 2 parts of this film and our other episodes. Also, please share, like, and leave your comments. We love hearing from you. And until we see you again on our next show, remember to get out and capture your own images of life.